Okay, I'm back. This is Audrey with Pressing On, my Tuesday wine edition. If anybody's back on here with me, I tried to do it just a second ago and nobody can hear the audio. So if anybody pops on here, let me know if you can hear me, because if you can't hear me, there's no point in doing this. Okay, Sarah Joe, you can hear me. Okay, good. So, Kimberly, can you hear me this time? I just want to make sure everybody's hearing me. Good, good. I don't know what happened. So much for my high-tech gear that I bought. Oh my goodness. So I guess I'm going to skip that portion of hi, Cheyenne. I guess I'm going to skip that portion of my business part of this, because there's no point in talking about the gear that I have if it's not working. So I'm going to have to practice with that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about being a mommy, some of the different things my kids are into right now, which is kind of crazy. I'm going to tell you about that recipe that I made the other day. Now, I said 60 calories per serving. I went back and refigured it, and it was 80 calories per serving. But still, 80 calories for a serving, that's pretty amazing. So I'm going to give you the directions or the instructions, the recipe for that. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the business trainings that I'm doing, the LinkedIn training and the 30-day live challenge. So I'll give you some LinkedIn tips that I'll give you guys. And if you're interested in joining our Learning LinkedIn group, just let me know and I can add you to that group. And then I will end it. We're going to skip the whole part about the new gear that I have, because obviously it's not working. But we're going to end it with a little bit of wine information. And then I will kind of forward you to my wine page on Thursdays at 1. That's my wine edition of this Pressing On thing, because I don't want to bombard you guys with too much wine information. So, first of all, Douglas just turned 17, and he turned 17 on August the 1st. Now, this is something we've done as parents. We've told the kids that whatever the money they save, we will match them to buy a vehicle. So Douglas saved $400. He probably could have saved a whole lot more, but he saved $400. So we bought him a little $800 Chevy Blazer. It's a 2003 little Blazer. And then most of the parts and things that he needed for it, we matched him on that as well. So him and Kevin worked on fixing this Blazer up, and he's had his license probably for about a year and a half now. But finally he is starting to drive. So he's had his permit for a year and a half, sorry. And he's been able to drive a little bit here and there. I used to have a Mazda that was a little bit smaller, and now I have a minivan, and so he's a little afraid to drive such a big minivan. And so he hasn't gotten a whole lot of experience in with that. But now that he's got his Blazer, I'm driving him back and forth to work. So he's doing that, and he's doing really good at it. So I think he's got the day off tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Friday too he has a day off. So I think what I'm going to do is take him in to go get his full-blown license so he can start driving himself. I have a really cool announcement on why I need him to drive himself to and from work, but I'm going to tell you that later. So that's Douglas. We are going to start talking with Coast Guard recruiters. He's been wanting to join the military. His whole life he wanted to join the military, and I think he's thinking Coast Guard. It's a smaller, tight-knit community, and he plans on doing this for a career, and having a wife and having children, he figured it might be easier. He doesn't have those things yet. Hopefully it'll be a while. But he figured that it would be easier to join the Coast Guard, because then wherever he moves his family, most times it's within the states, and wherever he moves his family, the hope is that he would know, his wife or his family would know other people, since it's such a smaller community. So anyway, we're going to start talking to a Coast Guard recruiter sometime soon. That way, by the time he's 18, he's signed on and ready to go. So that's what's going on with Douglas. Garrett, he's the 9-year-old. Hi, Tia. So, oh, Cheyenne, hi. Tell Summer I said hi. Hi, Summer. That's my niece. Okay, so Garrett is 9, and he spends the summer with his dad in Texas. This is his biological dad. He spends the entire summer there. So I'm not getting him back still a few more weeks. But I've got all of his 4th grade curriculum ready to go. I bought this little binder that has, in North Carolina, we're required to do 180 days of homeschooling. And so I've already got it all planned out every day for 180 days, exactly what he's supposed to be doing. His curriculum this year is real reading intensive. So besides the math, obviously, but it's a lot of reading, a lot of just reading little stories, history, excerpts, things like that. And so I think that's going to be great with me working. He can kind of sit side by side with me and ask me questions when he needs to, but most of it's just reading. Garrett is not a real good test taker. Not that he's not a good test taker. He's really impatient. He's really super smart, but if he knows the information, he doesn't want to sit there and be bored and take a silly test. So He knows the information as long as I can rehearse it with him and ask him some of the questions. I don't think I'm going to test him on those things this year. Now, North Carolina, we are required to test at the end of the school year, so we have to give him a state achievement test. And so the only things towards the end of the year we will focus on is more on is his math and his language arts to make sure he's competent enough to pass that test, which he usually is. Third grade last year, he was testing at 6th and 7th grade for several of the language arts and math categories, so I'm not even worried about that. One of the best things about homeschooling is you can cater to their learning style. I know my son, and I know that, yeah, Tia, I love it. And I've already been working with Lily a little bit too. But I know my son, and I know he hates testing. He just hates it. It's not that he doesn't know the information. He just hates it. So, and he loves to read and he loves to learn. I mean, this kid, seriously, when we were learning about the Holocaust, we spent probably a month. And that's the cool thing about homeschooling is we can learn all the ins and outs. We can watch several different movies about it. We can just everything. He was researching Nelson Mandela. He was researching, and he just went on and on for several weeks learning about this guy and all the things that happen and things like that. And that's one of the strong suits about homeschooling. And I know this about Garrett is when he finds something he's really passionate about it, he wants to learn everything else about it, all about it. So it's not like, you know, in public school we were like, oh, today's Columbus Day, let's, you know, spend an hour talking about Columbus Day and never, you know, touch on it again until that time next year. Well, not with Garrett. If he wants to learn more, we will learn more. We'll watch all kinds of YouTube videos. There's so much information online. So I've got the 180 days all planned out. We'll kind of see how it plays out, but that's kind of the plan. As far as Lily, I have to tell you the funniest thing that happened with Lily. I don't know if you can tell today, I don't have any makeup on. I have mascara, and that's it. So Lily, this is the funniest thing. Her daddy was coming home, and I went to the bathroom, and I said, I'm going to go put some makeup on so I'm pretty for daddy. And so she's in there, and she's scrubbing her face, and I was like, what are you doing? And she says, I don't want to be ugly like mommy. So at 3 years old, because she just turned 3, at 3 years old, just the fact that I'm telling her I have to put on makeup to be pretty, I don't like that I've taught her that already, and I didn't even realize I was teaching her that. So we're going to try to use less makeup because I don't want her to think that that's the only way she can be pretty. So I don't know about you guys. There's so many of these. She is a stinker, Tia, for real. I mean, that's just what she thought, though. She thought when mommy said, I'm going to go put makeup on so I'm pretty for daddy, she thought that that's the only way to be pretty was put on makeup. And I don't at all want her to think that, especially at 3 years old. I don't want her having these opinions that that's the only way to be pretty. So I'm going to try to use less makeup for the sake of my daughter. So that's about all of the family things. Let me tell you about this recipe I made. So it's spinach and shrimp and rice. That's really all it was. I sauteed these little bitty shrimps, and let me see. The one bag of shrimps was a 12-ounce bag. It says 45 calories per serving. I sauteed it with a little bit of butter and garlic, so there was probably a few little calories in the butter, but I didn't use much. And it's real butter, not the margarine crap. It's real cream and salt. It's real butter. So I sauteed that with, like I said, the butter and the garlic. And then I mixed in half a bag of frozen, it just says frozen cut leaf spinach. So I mixed in half a bag of that and finished kind of cooking that down until it was all cooked up. And I know, Tia, it would be great if they could play together. Okay, so I only used half a bag of that, which it was a 1 pound bag. So it was a half a pound. Did I say carbs or calories? No, I looked at calories, Cheyenne. It came out to about 80 calories per serving. And I'll show you, text everything or put it in the comments. I'll put all the stuff in the comments on how I made this. So it was 1 bag of shrimp that was 12 ounces. It was half a bag of the cut leaf spinach, frozen cut leaf spinach, half a bag, which is the 1 bag was 1 pound, so it was half a pound. And then, I don't know if you've ever heard of Miracle Noodles. I get these from Amazon. There's 6 comes to a little bag. Kevin doesn't particularly like the consistency, but Miracle Noodles, it's something called shirataki noodles. I think you can get them off of Walmart.com. You can't get them in actually, someone said you might, maybe where the tofu and stuff is, but it's a 0-calorie noodle. Seriously, 0 calories. So with the shrimp, the spinach, which was so far, that is 75 calories, a little bit of butter, a little bit of garlic, and then I put these shirataki noodles in there. So the shirataki noodles, it's like a little bitty, it's called Miracle Rice. They have the noodles, but this was Miracle Rice. You just rinse them in a little, I don't know, like a little strainer or something, and then you mix them all in there and just let it cook up. I put some salt and pepper in there, and seriously, I mean, I ate 2 bowls of that, and probably at max ate less than 200 calories, because I do kind of fill my bowls up, but at max less than 200 calories for a full meal, to where I was full at the end. Now these miracle noodles, like I said, they do have a different kind of consistency, so you can't really make, like, they call it miracle rice. You can't really make like any other rice. Like, you can't make Spanish rice, you can't make fried rice with it. Some people do. I haven't tried it, and I just don't think it'd be the right consistency, but I have made broccoli and cheese casserole. I've made different things like that. I've put it inside of my soups as more of a filler. For 0 calories, you can't beat that. I don't know, Cheyenne, I'll have to let you know how many carbs are in it. I'll take a picture of the back of one of my bags and put it in these comments below so you guys can see exactly what it is. But like I said, I get them off of Amazon.com. Some people have said you can get them from Walmart. Like, I don't know if they have them at every Walmart. It kind of depends what your market is and if that's something that people buy in that area. I don't know. But I get mine off of Amazon. Okay, so here's some exciting news. And I haven't hardly told anyone this. The reason why I need Douglas to start driving is I have got a job. So I've been a physician recruiter, and I've been doing that probably 5.5 years or so. I recently got a job with another recruiting agency, so I start that Monday. So, and the thing with this job is it's a requirement to work 40 hours a week. So I might have to readjust my time on when I'm going to do these lives, or maybe I'll start doing them in the evenings. I'm not really sure yet, but it is a 40-hour-a-week job. And so I have a little babysitter. I have a babysitter coming in a few times a week. So she's going to come help me with Lily, and possibly even with Douglas, Garrett with his homeschooling. But Douglas is going to be going back and forth to work. And so he's going to kind of have to start being a big boy and take care of himself. So I'm excited about the new job. It is even though it's physician recruiting, it's not just physician recruiting. They do nurse practitioners, PAs, LPNs, everything. But it's more for the government sector. So they staff positions at some of the different military bases all over the United States. So that's kind of very interesting to me, is because that's not something I had done before. That's never a sector that I jumped into. You have to like win these contracts from the United States Air Force and stuff. So that's not something, yeah, Cheyenne, I thought about getting in, maybe doing it in the evenings. But anyway, I've thought about changing my times a little bit. But anyway, I'm excited about this job. I am slightly worried, but not too much, about my timing and how to handle everything. With the wine business, I've kind of toned that down a little bit to where I really just post a few times a day and people come to me. So that's not a big deal. With the homeschooling, because it's more reading intensive, Garrett can just sit next to me and read, and when and if he has a question, I can answer it. I still think, even though working from home, I probably get more done than most ladies who work in an office, because there's all those other distractions. You know how guys or ladies in an office, they just want to get together and chit chat and let's take a coffee run or a donut run or a lunch run or whatever. With me working at home, I'm going to be able to focus more on getting stuff done. So keep me in your prayers as far as getting all of that done. I think I'll be training for at least 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks. I doubt I'll need 4 weeks, because I've already done a lot of the recruiting stuff myself, but never have done the military side of it. So I'm excited for that to start. I'm going to start Monday. So like I said, I may change the times of this live thing. I may change that to another day and time. I'm not really sure yet. I'm just kind of seeing how, kind of winging it and see how it's all going to go. Okay. I have something interesting to say, and this is about our church, but not really. I had an interesting comment made to me the other day, and this, I posted a picture of this the other day, but it's just really been on my mind. That here's the little quote: "God doesn't call the equipped; He equips the called." So we have several different openings at our church, and there's several different people who are afraid. I could never do that. Well, you know what? I'm the nursery director. I never thought I could do that. I'm with kids all day long. I mean, never would I have wanted to go on a Sunday and deal with more kids. But you know what? I took the role. I took it. I've made several different changes. We've seen several different accomplishments as far as the kids, and the kids are invited. I mean, the kids that are involved in what they're learning. I remember in the very beginning, I decided I was going to teach the kids lessons, because it had, up to that point, it had just been kind of like a daycare, they just went in there and played. And when I decided to do lessons, several people said, the kids will never do that. They will never sit still and learn a lesson. I'm like, oh yeah, they will. Both of my boys at 3 years old started going to a 3K program, whether it was a daycare or whatever. It was 3K, and they were required to sit still and learn a lesson, at least for a few hours a day. So I knew that going in and changing things at the church nursery was going to be a little bit difficult, but it worked and the kids love it. And I don't know if you guys serve anywhere, church or not, if you do volunteer or extracurricular things. I almost kind of sometimes feel selfish a little bit that I'm getting all these rewards and all these blessings and keeping them all to myself. Yes, I'm trying to recruit more people at the church, but that's not really why I'm saying this. I feel when I leave church, like I'm like hugely rewarded. I feel like I look back and I think, wow, those kids learned that story because of me, because I did this. I mean, I hope I'm not sounding too selfish or arrogant, but I love it. I really, really love it. And so the whole quote here that God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. He didn't call me to be in the nursery because I'm good with kids. Hi, Heather. Heather's one of the ones in our nursery. We're talking about the church nursery, Heather. So God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. I was called to do that. I know I was called to do that. I nowhere near thought I was prepared for it, but guess what? He equipped me. So God didn't call me because I was equipped. He equipped me because I was called to do that. So I don't know if you guys ever have any opportunity to serve in a church or serve in any sort of ministry or a food kitchen or any sort of volunteer capacity. Even if you think you may not do it, if that is in your heart, it's in your heart for a reason. Hey, Jeff, how are you? So it's in your heart for a reason. God will equip you if he has called you to do it. So that's all I had to say about the little church portion of this. Okay, so business tips, tricks, and advice. We are on day 29 of our Facebook Live challenge, and this is the result of that. So let me know if you think I'm doing okay with it. So Amanda says, not arrogant, self-fulfillment. I do. I feel blessed. I feel rewarded, and I almost feel like, because I've been doing the hour during worship service for 2 months. Actually, I've scheduled myself for 3 months in a row. And I'm the only one. Well, I have assistants, but I'm the lead teacher in there. And I'm telling you, I never go out of there thinking, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into? I walk out of there thinking, wow, this was cool. And it is so funny. Yes, day 29, Heather. Day 29 of the Facebook Live challenge. But so I go out of there thinking those kids learned something because of the changes that I've implemented in there and those sort of things. So anyway, day 30 of my 30-day Facebook Live challenge. Today is day 29, and we are wrapping things up. We are going to do this again, so I don't know if you just want to get out there more often, if you're self-employed, if you have a business, all the statistics, and if you're in this group, I'll share with you all of those statistics, but all of the statistics say Facebook Live is where it is these days. That's where you need to be. That's where, if you need to promote yourself, your business, whatever it may be, you need to be on Facebook Live. So we have all learned a lot. We started out with, I think, 68 girls, and as time went by, I would delete people who were not participating. So now we're down to 28 girls, and they weren't all girls in the beginning, but now we're down to 22 girls, I think. And we've actually learned a lot about each other. One of the things we do, if you like and comment on my videos, it promotes it so other people see it in their video, in their news feeds too. And so one of the things we've done with these 22 girls is we go in and we like and comment and, all that kind of stuff with each other's videos. So it helps everybody. All of us have seen so much. People have inboxed us. Random people have inboxed us and said, I love getting to know you personally. And that's exactly the intention of this. We wanted people to know us personally. We wanted people to, I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos. People are not, hey, Allison, people are not going, okay, let's just say you're going into a furniture store, right? And the furniture store you go into, you don't know anybody, and actually you walk in and nobody greets you. They're kind of grumpy, kind of jerks, whatever. You're either going to walk out, or even if you do look at stuff, you're probably not going to purchase from them. Now, if you had walked into another furniture store where either you know somebody, or they've greeted you, or they've been pleasant with you, whatever, that's the people you're going to buy from, right? And so on social media, you don't know me from anybody. Unless you know me beforehand or you've met me, sometime or another, you don't really know me. So the only way for you to get to know me is Facebook Live. This is live. You can ask me questions. You can get to know me. You can see my quirks and all of that stuff. But that's the way to get to know me. And if I expect people to know me and know my business and take my advice and buy wine club memberships for me, whatever it may be, I think that they should know me before they would even consider purchasing from me or taking my advice or whatever it may be. So that's the whole goal of the Facebook Live. We're on day 29. Tomorrow we're wrapping it up. Hey, Suzanne. we're wrapping it up tomorrow, and I plan on, I'm going to kind of get into my new role with my new position that I'm starting Monday, see kind of my groove with that and what kind of extra time I've got. And then after that, I will be announcing that I'm going to be doing the Facebook Live 30-day challenge again. So if anybody's interested in that, even for personal use, if you're interested in that, just let me know. Hello, beautiful. Hey, Suzanne. You're so sweet. So anyway, 30-day challenge. If you're interested in that, let me know. LinkedIn. So it's a paid course that I'm taking with a guy named Bob Heilig for LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a little bit different. LinkedIn is like a Facebook, but for professional people. Everybody's on LinkedIn, but not everybody. I think there's more people on Facebook than LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is for those professional people. And so here's one thing that I've learned with anything. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, not so much because Instagram is just pictures, but LinkedIn, I friended, I don't even know, probably 100 people the other day. And I sent them all a personal message with using their first name. I didn't use a bot to create these messages or anything. I took my time and sent them each a personal message saying, hey, Steve, it's great to meet you. Glad to connect with you. Looking forward to getting to know you better. And this one guy messaged me back and he said he has personally received over 100 different connections that day. And I was the only person who included a personal message. And do you know how much that said to him? You know how much that said to me, knowing that he actually paid attention to me? And then you can see on LinkedIn who views your profile and stuff. And he's checked out my profile several different times. I don't remember. I know he's a businessman. I think he's from the United Kingdom. So that's kind of cool. Just the whole idea is when you're friending people, whether it's for business or for personal, just reach out and say hello. I mean, it doesn't take much. It's one of those things that just be personable. Like I said, when you're walking into a grocery store or a furniture store, whatever it may be, just be personable. You wouldn't just, well, I don't. I wouldn't just walk around, all frumpy and grumpy and not saying hello to people. I'm kind of friendly and fun-loving anyway, so I'm going to say hi to people. That's the same thing I'm going to do if I'm adding new friends on Facebook or LinkedIn. Just say hello. Say, hey, I noticed you have been a nurse practitioner for 8 years. Congratulations, Another thing they're kind of training you to do is look at the notifications on LinkedIn. And if someone has had a promotion, if they change their little job title or whatever on LinkedIn, it puts it in the notifications. So people like me, it gives me a reason to reach out to them. So I can say, hey, congratulations. I see you've been working at MCare for 8 years now, congratulations, keep up the good work, that kind of thing. So just doing that, now they know me. Now they're looking at my profile. Now they're going to see that I do recruiting, that I teach some classes, that I'm in the wine business. And so just that alone, I'm building that relationship without having to be salesy. So there's definitely ways to improve your business and improve your network and your outreach without being that annoying salesperson. So I'm learning a lot with LinkedIn. I'd be happy if you do any business work on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to add you to my LinkedIn group because it really has taught us a lot. Now, most of the ladies in there are wine ladies who, in the wine business that want to get more familiar with LinkedIn, kind of broaden their network on the professional side of things anyway. So, but it doesn't matter. If you're interested in learning more about LinkedIn, I would be happy to add you to this group. It's a free group, doesn't cost anything. Learn what I'm learning and I'm teaching you for free. So that's cool. Okay, I was going to talk about the gear that I bought. I'm not talking about that anymore because I tried earlier and the sound didn't even come through. So I'm going to have to practice that and see what I'm doing wrong with that. I guess, let me see. It is already 1:30. I've already taken up this much of your time. Okay, so let me let you guys know that on Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, I will be tuning in on my wine page. So I'm going to tell you more about that. I actually ordered from my wine club a case of all reds. So I don't even know what kind of reds I'm getting, but they should be here today. So if I hear the doorbell ring, I might be cutting this real short so I can go get the UPS man. Douglas had a dentist appointment this morning and I left a sign that said, hey, UPS man, if you're here with my wine, call me on my cell phone. I don't want to miss this. So I will share with you what kinds of wines. Hopefully I got a few different varieties in there. I didn't choose what I wanted. I just said reds. Just give me a case of reds. And so I'll share that with you Thursday on my wine page, 1 p.m. Eastern, what kind of reds I got. I'll share a little bit more on that wine page about during the month of August, we're having golden tickets in random boxes. So like Willy Wonka style, like if you get a golden ticket, you have the chance to win like a ton of different prizes. So I will explain more about that Oh, thank you, Heather. She says, I've definitely grown from day one. You know what? It's pretty cool. I'm going to go back and look at day one and be like, oh my God, what was I doing? So thank you, Heather. Thank you, Cheyenne. So Thursday, 1 p.m., if you tune in there, I'm going to be talking about the golden tickets. I'm going to be talking about what wine I get in the mail today. I'm going to be talking, I usually do a contest every week on that wine page too. So stay tuned. If you want to tune in for that, it's my Audrey Wines for You, number 4, letter U. And it's Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern on my wine page. So that's all I had to say to anybody. I am happy to take questions if you guys have any questions, whether it be about LinkedIn. I'm not saying I'm the expert, but I've taken lots of different classes and I might have some knowledge that you may not be privy to yet. So if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know if you've got questions. Like I said, Facebook Live videos, LinkedIn, I don't know, whatever it may be. Homeschooling, kiddos, how to deal with a 17-year-old little smart mouth. Because that happens quite often. There's a funny story there too. I'm just going to stay on a few more minutes to tell you this funny story. So I was taking Douglas to work yesterday. He was driving his little Blazer, and he's driving and he starts messing with the radio stations. I'm like, what are you doing? Your little sister's in the car, your mother's in the car, you're a new driver, you don't need to be messing with the radio stations. So he says, Kevin must have changed my radio stations. He jacked them all up and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever, turn the dang radio off, focus on what you're supposed to be doing, like focus on your surroundings, and let's get us to your job safely so we can get back home. So we get back home and I called Kevin. I'm like, did you mess with his radio stations? Are you just trying to jack with him? He said, no, actually, he turned the radio on. And this is funny because Douglas had already preset all of his radio stations. So Kevin was driving Douglas's vehicle up to Lowe's the other day. And he realized the radio station wasn't working. It must have just been a fluke with the station or whatever. So he thought to himself, maybe Douglas doesn't know how to set his radio station. So I will be helpful and set all of his stations for him. So what he ended up doing was resetting all of Douglas's stations, and Douglas didn't realize that until we were in the middle of driving. So it was this huge blow up. I kind of griped at him a little bit because he should not be focusing on his radio. He should be focusing on driving and his surroundings and all of that. But it was just funny. Those are one of the things you have to deal with I would say just a 17-year-old, but he's been acting like this since he was like 10. Douglas is my sister told me the other day that it's my fault that I raised such confident, independent children, which is fantastic. I want confident, independent children, but not till they're 18. Let me finish being the parent. Let me finish teaching you what I need to teach you. And then when I throw you out into the world, then you could be confident and independent. But I don't think it's working out that way. Suzanne, yes, it's the same way. Like, I mean, you're so new at driving. You should not be concentrating on anything else other than looking out the window. What if a kid ran out in front of you and you're sitting there jacking with your radio? Really? I mean, so yeah, it's just one of those things you deal with kids. It's so funny. I waited, I think between Douglas and Garrett was 8 years, and between Garrett and Lily, it's like 7 years, something like that. I waited until my kids were 100% confident, independent before I even decided to have another child. So I'm just going to be having kids, not having kids forever because I'm done, but I'm going to be raising kids, it seems like, forever. And now Lily is telling me she wants a baby sister, so I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but she definitely wants a baby sister, which I think would be cool because I don't know if we'd adopt or have another kid. I don't know yet. It's all I do know is it's not going to happen anytime soon. I enjoyed having a sister. I enjoyed a lot of my cousins have sisters, and it's nice to always have that best friend. So anyhow, I will let you guys go. It's always been a pleasure to visit with you. If you have any ideas or suggestions for my topic next week, let me know. Tune into my wine page Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll tell you more about the wines I'm going to get in today. And we will see you next week. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye.